When you are feeling disappointed, how long do you let yourself be disappointed before you start reaching for what's next? Positivity is my top strength, and it's how I'm wired. So my instinct when something falls apart is to move fast towards what's next, what's good about it, find the opening, name the opportunity. And most of the time, that serves me and the people around me really well. But I'm noticing today that it can also be a way to skip right past the part where I am allowed to be let down and to feel that feeling of being let down. So let me tell you what's going on. For the past couple of months, we've been talking with a builder about building a house on a lot in downtown Indianapolis. And this lot is really, really great. It bumps up against a wooded area and a creek. So you get this nature vibe right in the middle of the city with all these cool spots right around it. It's not something that you find every day. And I have been building it in my head. I can see the whole thing. The screened-in porch overlooking the wooded area. The big kitchen with the massive windows. And I've never liked that old adage about not letting yourself get too excited so you don't get let down. And I still don't like it. But in this moment right now, as I record this, I understand where that comes from. Because we recently got some bad news. The permits are being held up and we may have to bring in a civil engineer, which is going to be really expensive. And separately from all of that, there have been some off feelings with this builder for a while now, just little things. So now the plan is changing and we're questioning everything and thinking about stepping away entirely from this build opportunity. And we are exploring completely different options. So everything I thought was going to happen is not happening. So I pulled out my feelings wheel because it was like, am I sad? Am I angry? And as I dug into the feelings in my feelings wheel, it's really clear. I feel disappointed and I feel annoyed that we're back at square one. Now, right next to those big feelings, I have, maybe not next to, maybe let's say overarching everything in my life. I have such faith and such a belief that life always has a way of working out. So I'm holding these competing feelings at the same time right now. Disappointment about the plan we lost, but also some real curiosity about what's coming. Today, right now in this moment, it's probably about 80% disappointment and 20% excited about the possibilities. We tend to tell the story after the good part shows up, once we know how it all turned out. And then it sounds like wisdom instead of what it actually was, which is sitting in it. And that's where I am right now, sitting in it. So here is a leadership reflection for today. The permits were the news, but the permits are not the whole story. Those off feelings about the builder had been sitting there for weeks and I hadn't done anything with them. Because the plan was moving and I wanted to keep it moving. It took the plan breaking for me to actually listen to something I already knew. And that is the part I want to pay attention to. I think a lot of us do this every day in our leadership. We notice something in a partnership or a vendor or a hire or a project, something that doesn't quite sit right, and we set it to the side. Because momentum feels like progress and slowing down feels like losing. So we just keep going. And then something outside of us forces the pause and suddenly we can see more clearly. And what we see is that we could have seen it a month ago if we had been willing to look. So maybe that is where my disappointment is coming from. That's where self-accountable, one of the 5 characteristics of a full circle leader, shows up in real life. It's not only about owning your outcomes and your commitments, although it's that too, it is also about owning what you noticed and didn't act on, but not beating yourself up for it. I'm not telling myself I should have known. What I'm doing is asking a better question. What was I unwilling to slow down for? And what do I want to do differently in the next conversation around our next house? That is an opening. And I'd rather have the opening than all of the plans and all of the specifics. And there's a second piece to this also, and it has to do with what your own disappointment is telling other people who are watching. Because if you lead anything, your team is reading you. So when a plan that you were excited about falls apart, you have a choice. You can perform okayness, which they will see right through, and it teaches them that the honest version isn't welcome here. Or you can hand them your unprocessed frustration and let them carry it for you, which is not fair to them. So between those two extreme options, there's a middle path. And it sounds something like this. I'm disappointed. This isn't what I wanted. I'm still working out what to do next, and I'll tell you as soon as I know. That's it. And that's where I am right now. That is honest, and it is steady at the same time. And it gives people permission to be human without asking them to manage you. Sitting in it, for me, is what makes that possible. If I skip the disappointment, I don't get rid of it. I just carry it into the next meeting, and then it'll come out sideways, as it always does. So I'm giving it a little room, and then I'll go be curious about the next house. So my question for you today, where might you be rushing past a real disappointment to get to the reframe? And what might you notice if you stayed with it just a little bit longer? What a great way to take care of yourself and ultimately each other.